Hello everybody, how is it going? More One Piece Championship. We got Law versus Zoro. The classic matchup. Dating back to OPO 2. Still being played here in OPO 4. I don't really think either of these decks are playing any cards from OPO 4. Law decks have like slightly changed over the formats, just like little tech cards and such. But yeah, we see Zoro starting off with a buggy, finds nothing, puts him on the bottom, passes it over. Law picking up a Bonnie. What a beast. Doesn't look like he has any red searchers, which I feel are very important in this matchup, but I don't think like they're required, but they help you trade well into like cards like Fire Fist or Marco, because you know the bodies that got popped at least added a card back. They were just free from your hand. So Law electing to play nothing on his first turn. Always a rough start when that happens to Law, but what are you gonna do? Zoro looking like he has an Ezo and probably a Whitebeard Pirates this turn. Just do some searching. I don't know if he's playing Whitebeard or not. I know a lot of lists in the OCG don't play a 9-cost Whitebeard, so probably just looking for like Marcos or Marco blockers. I don't even think he's playing Teach, which I know some lists play, some lists don't. I think it's just more of a preference thing. I do think of the two cards of Teach and Marco, Marco is the better card. But yeah, he'll probably tap another one for Pirates, I would imagine, unless he wants to hold it as discard fodder. So he's actually going to take the 2 swings this turn. Goes 5 with Buggy, and then 6 with Lead. Yeah, Law electing to take both. Sometimes when you got a rough start, you just got to eat those and hope for the best. Sadly, we can't just clear this Buggy, and Law still not really seeing any decent early game plays other than maybe just hard playing Zoro here. He could also drop the Luffy, leader effect Nami, which could be fine. Just, get it on board. Actually looking like he's thinking of swinging with Zoro, which is very interesting. Yeah, he does. He goes 6 at life. Interesting. Definitely interesting. As Law, at least early game, before I have my board established, I hate turning my characters sideways because I don't want people to clear them, and I don't want to give up cards to try to defend them early. But maybe he feels like because he just took the 2 life, he'll use this Zoro as just like a free block, which is definitely interesting. And looking at his hand, I feel like it's going to be pretty hard to get his leader alive this turn. I'm looking at Zoro's hand. He has a Dadan now, has a Gordon, which is a good answer for like the Law blockers. Has both Marcos, guard point, 2k counter. He's looking solid. Looking like a standard Zoro hand. On 5 Dawn. I guess maybe Law was assuming that Zoro will always play his 5-cost Marco on curve. So just playing out the Zoro as almost like a punish. Because if he wants to play his 5-cost Marco, he can't really interact with the Zoro other than a 5k swing from lead. And that is exactly what happened. So honestly, a pretty smart call from the Law player. Basically saying if you want to contest his Zoro, you aren't allowed to play your Marco this turn. And if not, my Zoro will most likely live. So, good play. Honestly, good play. This turn, I still don't think he'll be able to get his board up unless he wants to play double Otama, Bonnie Nami, which isn't the worst, but I don't know if he should be on 5 Dawn? Is he on 5 or 6? He's on 6 because he went second. So he'd have 1, 2, 3, 4. He'd be able to get his leader up, but he wouldn't be able to use Bonnie effect. Just playing down the Luffy leader effect Nami, giving a Dawn to Zoro, and then swinging 5 at life. That's probably to play around Fire Fist. I don't know if many Zoros are playing Jet Pistol in the OCG, but they are most definitely playing Fire Fist. So that was a solid play. Zoro thinking about defending here. They both took early hits, so life gets like a little bit scary because both these decks are quite aggressive. So would not blame Zoro for countering out of at least one of these hits, whether it be from the Zoro or Law's leader. I am interested if he actually decides to go for establishing his board this turn, or maybe just playing like a Basil. Goes 6 at life with Zoro. The fact that he's swinging with Zoro makes me want to think that he will play down his board this turn, but he also very likely could just play the Basil and pass, and just let the Zoro die. Zoro picking a lot of Zoros. I'm saying a ton of Zoro. But Zoro picking up a Gordon off life, which again will help. Gordon is so good into all of Law's top end because all of his top end is 6k, and Gordon puts him at 3, so it's like the perfect amount to either pop him with Marco, or just they all put him in the range of Fire Fist. But yeah, Law going for putting down his board this turn. Plays double Otama Bonnie, doesn't use the Bonnie because he can't. Bounces Otama, plays Blocker Law. I would think, yeah, just bouncing the Zoro, and next turn you'll hopefully be able to pick up your Otama and your Bonnie. Reswinging with the replayed Zoro. I would imagine that Zoro will defend this. I'm sorry, I keep having to say Zoro. Not looking like a ton of great options unless he wants to, get rid of his Marco blocker or his Dodon, which I feel like are both pretty valuable plays. Looks like he's definitely considering chucking the Dodon for this. I feel like of the two, Marco blocker is probably a bit more important because you are at 2 life and he'll start getting, a lot of value. Just blocking 1 card a turn basically. Kind of really hard to out that guy. Yep, does use Dodon as a 1k counter, which it's fair. Law now finally being set up, but not many cards in hand. If the Bonnie sticks and doesn't get popped by Marco, we'll be able to draw 2 cards basically next turn, so we'll be back at 6. But if we counter this turn, it's like we'll see how he ends up next turn on cards. But I would imagine Zoro's only real play this turn is like either playing Marco or using the Gordon and then Fire Fisting like the Law's Zoro and Blocker Law. So we'll see what he ends up deciding to go for. I think right now the board clear is pretty strong. It's always strong against Law. It's that or play Blocker Marco. Or he could search and see if he finds anything off Whitebeard Pirates. Maybe pick up another 5-cost Marco and then be able to Gordon and then Marco Blocker Law. That could be good. Thinking about his swings here. Goes 6 at life, I would imagine. Could also be contesting Zoro. Well, whichever one he decided to swing at got defended by the 2k counter. Sanji is, I see a lot of people in OCG playing it. I imagine it's mostly for like the Nami matchup when you're starved from your life. You just, play down a Sanji and you're like, sweet, I'll just take my own life. And honestly, in that matchup, it's pretty good. And in this tournament, Nami won the tournament, so maybe Sanji is the deserved respect that Nami needs when you're playing Law. Maybe I'll try running it. It's just different 2k. I'm sure you could cut like a Brook for it or something. But Zoro will play down the Gordon, bottom deck it. I imagine he is going for... Oh, it looks like he went for the rest of Zoro, so just going to try to trade really well with his 1-drops on field. Law just immediately letting that go. It's like, there's no way I'm defending this, and that's a good call. Zoro still sitting on 5 Dawn. Could could Gordon again, and then go for the Fire Fist, killing like Law's Bonnie and his Blocker Law. Could be pretty detrimental. Him, or the Law player, only having 3 cards in hand at this point, and losing his search for next turn. Wait, have I been trolling this whole time? I'm sorry. I swore he had a Fire Fist in hand, He had a, that's a Whitebeard Pirates. I'm trolling. They like flash Whitebeard, not Whitebeard Pirates, Fire Fist on the screen. And that immediately made me think that that was Fire Fist. That's my fault. That's my fault. So, yeah, it's looking like it's a blocker Marco turn. My fault. I know people will probably correct me on that. Like, what are you talking about? This man does not have a Fire Fist. That's my bad. That's my bad. Still just thinking about his turn. Looks like he's going to go at least 5 with Buggy. I doubt Law would... I mean, Law might want to take the free block. But then getting contested by Marco could be rough. But no. Zoro respects the Law blocker and does go for 6. I think Law will take this. Because what other choice does he really have? Oh, no, he 2Ks. Well, I would imagine he's definitely taking the Marco hit. So I guess, yeah, that is easier to counter out of. So, good call, good call. Zoro still has 3 Dawn up, so not playing blocker Marco this turn. Just going for a lot of pressure. Getting the easy trade on the Zoro. Probably gonna swing for 7 here. doing a lot of thinking. It's alright though, it's in a tournament, should be thinking. Yeah, it goes 7 at life, and Law will take that one. Picks up a Jadon, which is fine. Helps him put a red card on board, but he'll probably want to bounce the Otama next turn. Zoro playing down the Gordon. Doesn't have the Fire Fist like I thought he did. He definitely, I assume, would have taken it this turn if he had it. So, yeah. In that reality where he had it, you know, it was an option. Law grabbing a restand Law for turn. Okay. Using his Bonnie, who thankfully lived that turn. Let's see what he finds. See another restand Law, a Zoro. Could grab a Veggie. I'd imagine he'll take a restand Law here. Just because he has, you know, Supernova on board, has a counter, and I don't think he currently has a Law blocker to really get maximum value out of the Zoro. Could definitely take the Zoro though. Oh, he does have a Law blocker. I am tripping. So he could take the Zoro. Not a bad take either, I would say. Actually goes for the Veggie. Alright, that's the last card I was thinking there. I'm off on my calls. I wonder how the Veggie is going to fit into this. Maybe just something to play off blocker Law? I would think you'd want to replay a Searcher though. Or maybe this turn he wants to get down the Basil, so he'll play Veggie, then take back Otama to play the Basil. That could be good, But that is also... You're basically letting your Bonnie die for free with that play. So yeah, maybe not that. Law using Nami effect. Swinging 2 at Izo. I believe Nami's only 1k. Law going 5 at something. I assume life, because swinging into Buggy or Marco just does not work. Zoro dropping a 2k counter for the 5k swing. Good trade. Maybe Law's thinking of hard playing Basil, or hard playing one of his 5 drops, and then bouncing into Basil. I like that play too, I feel like he is forced to pick up Bonnie here, and then you just bounce the Otama with your leader effect. That sounds like the best route. At least that's probably the one I would take. I don't know if I value... Okay, I don't... I was gonna say, I don't think I value that Nami over the Bonnie, honestly. Law using leader. Taking back the Otama. Playing down Hawkins. So interesting, he values the equipped Dawn engine over Bonnie. Couldn't be me. But, hey, maybe Zoro just ignores the Bonnie. That could be cool, too. That is a reality. It could happen. Zoro picking up a Zoro for turn. My goodness. Too many Zoros. Zoro equips 1 to his leader. Zoro swinging for 7. Looks like at life. Could also be the Bonnie. If it's Bonnie, it's probably just has to go. You can't defend that. And I'd also just imagine he's swinging at life because Zoro will be able to swing Gordon into Bonnie as well as Buggy. And his lead if he had to. But if that was at life, takes the chump block. I imagine it was if he's using the Veggie there. Zoro going one more Dawn on his leader, attacking for 7. I assume again at life. Just wants to put the pressure on. Law being at 1 life and not a lot of cards in hand. He does have 2 blockers, so he probably won't die this turn, but definitely could put him in a scary spot. Yep, he does elect to take the last life. Picks up another Law blocker. My goodness. Well, that'll be nice for next turn if we get there, and I think we will. So sorry for the little jump there. Again, don't worry, you're not missing anything. The stream just kind of cut out during this match, so I kind of just cut out the little intermission they had and put the clips together. We might have went back a little bit, so I mean, I'll probably end up cutting out a lot of Zoro's thinking here, but yeah, he's just trying to figure out his turn, which is fair. Zoro swinging his Gordon at Bonnie. Law actually taking that block. That's based. That's based. Very, very interesting. I guess. So let's look at his Dawn. Zoro right now, I believe, has 7 Dawn up. So he could go like 2 on Buggy. Law would have the answer in just a 2K. And then they could play Zoro and swing for 8, which they would be able to counter out of, but it'd be like their whole hand. But they could also take the block and only drop 3 1Ks. So I guess, yeah, just not too worried about dying, which is fair. It's fair. Also, Law might not know that Zoro's even playing Rush Zoro, because I don't know how standard that is in these builds as well. Zoro is going 2 Dawn on Buggy. Swinging 6 at, let's see. Goes at Blocker Law. Okay. Law taking... I would imagine he's not going to block with that Law, because it'd be the same thing as just countering out of the other one. Okay, but he does. That block was for fun. He just said you don't have any rush cards, which Zoro does, but likes to play blocker Marco. Get some defense online. It's a fair play. Also, that Buggy's been there the entire game, right? It really makes you think. Very, very interesting design, Bandai. Appreciate you. But other than that, Zoro Law going 5 at life. Let's see how Zoro responds. Doesn't really have much counter. Left 1 up for the guard point, and that's really it. And just grabs a Rush Zoro of life, so still kind of very little counter in hand. There might be like a reality where Law could go for game this turn. I feel like I'm saying that a lot this video. It's because I messed a bunch of stuff up. So I'm covering my ass. Let's see. Because he does have the Hawkins on board, Law. And like he could like swing a bigger number at life than restand if he doesn't take the block. And I believe Hawkins would still trigger on that second swing after being restanded by restand Law, and then still be able to restand himself. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but I would imagine that's how it works. And Law does go 9 at life. Zoro actually, can he? Yeah, he can't counter out of this. He only has 3k counter in hand right now. So he's kind of forced to take this to not give basal value. But if what I'm thinking works, then there is... should just be game this turn. I'm not sure if he'll go for it. And Zoro actually gets a guard point trigger. So I feel like he could go for it, but again, I'm not sure how that is ruled. If anyone knows, let me know. Law tapping 2, most likely for leader effect. Well, at least thinking about tapping 2. Okay, he does. Grabs back Otama. Okay, he plays Blocker Law, so we don't get to see if that play would have worked. That's okay though. I do think this is a safer play, and if he doesn't know the ruling, I don't blame him for going this play. Picks up a starter deck Nami off of the Dawn search. Still has 4 Dawn up. He maybe could swing with the Blocker Law. Maybe. I don't think he should, because this spot is pretty scary. Passes it back to Zoro. Alright, let's see. This is kind of do or die for Zoro. Either kill Law this turn or lose next turn. 1 Dawn on lead. Zoro classic. That's a strong start. That's a strong start. Zoro swinging 7. Law could counter out of this. He has 2 2Ks and 3 1Ks. Him countering now, I guess, could only really be punished by a Rush Luffy or a Diablo Jambe electing, not to use his blockers. But looks like he will counter out, at least holding the amount he would need to counter out. Yep, he does counter out. Okay. Zoro going 6 at life. Once again, Law can counter out pretty easily. And Zoro does have double Rush Zoro, so he could go for something like that, but no kind of unblockable swing or anything like that. And 2 Zoros plus the Marco swing are all met by Blocker Laws, and then he's gonna Basil is swinging at him next turn for 16. So he does elect to play Wipe Your Pirates, probably looking for any amount of defense, and immediately finds a blocker Marco. So there you go. There's some more defense. Pretty good. Taps 4. Plays the Marco. And I imagine now he's not going to swing with the other one, and passes it back 4 up. So we'll be able to use both guard points, and has a 2K counter. So let's see if he can live this turn. It isn't looking the best, honestly. If those Zoros were just 1Ks, it would probably be a lot better. But Law going 9 with Basil. It is met with a guard point and a 2K counter. So now on Law's side, just literally a 5K swing has so much value. He doesn't necessarily know that his opponent only has one event counter in hand, but goes 7 at life, gets met with a guard point, and Zoro is now out of counters, so Law will go another 7 at life, met by a blocker Marco. Law will swing 5 at life, is forced to be met with another blocker Marco, and then he could just go big on his last Law, but just goes 5 with the Dawn, and that is the game. Well, thank you guys for watching.